a lot of people ask me because I also lived 3.5 years on a mountain along with those 100 days. And people ask me, so what did you find? All these thousands of hours of meditation. And the most simple answer I can give is that I found that there is nothing to find. And I just came back down living life with a different kind of fullness. There was this mountain climber who had this beautiful quote. I think his name was René Dumalt. And he said, so what's the point of reaching these peaks? Like you climb these mountains and you reach these peaks. In the end, you got to come down again, right? He said, you can't stay on the peak forever. At some point, you got to come down from the mountain. But then the question is, what's the point? And his answer was quite profound. He said, well, the point is that you know what's up there. The person who hasn't gone to the peak and come down doesn't actually know what's up there.
Sounds like going to the top of the mountain is a bit of a summit, but going and spending 100 days in darkness is going deep, deep within. Um, you referred to knowing what's up there. So were you looking for what's in there?
Yeah, what drove me really was this question of there should be more to life. So I had become relatively successful at age 23, reached like 90% of my goals. Everything was really awesome on the surface. I'd become an engineer and had a thriving coaching business, one of the biggest ones in Scandinavia, was making a lot of money, doing work that I really enjoyed, serving people. And everything was just beautiful. Like everything that society prescribes is going to make you happy was all there. And instead of bringing happiness, it plummeted me into this existential crisis at age 23 where I was like, oh man, this didn't work. And not only it didn't work, I also had this knowing that doing more of it won't work. It was so painfully obvious that just making more money or having more experiences wasn't going to help me. And I was very skeptical about spirituality. I was not I really had a lot of judgments and skepticism about anything spiritual, but it was an act of desperation. It was like, well, this is the last arena I feel I haven't really explored with intensity and with passion. So that's what originally started me on this incredible journey that spanned more than 14 years. Like a lot of crazy experiences, meeting a lot of beautiful people, a lot of weird people, all sorts of like the full spectrum, the full rainbow colored spectrum. And the dark retreats were really driven by that same fire to search for something. It was like a desperation of something is missing, but it was also this ancient knowing that I think every one of us have somewhere, that there is something I lost connection to, or there is some deeper truth that I know is possible. And that some people call that the enlightenment drive. That was also driving me. And it just so happened that I have a very extreme personality, very intense. So that drive took me to these depths of, well, I don't care what I have to do to find these answers. So yes, the dark retreats are like going into the womb. You're basically removing all distractions, right? We distract ourselves so much for so many things like checking my smartphone every 5 minutes, food, even beautiful connections and conversations, although very nourishing, can be a form of distraction. When you go into the darkness, there are two elements. The first element is you're removing all distractions. So it's an absence of distractions. When you remove distractions, you become face to face with your actual soul state. You actually feel the state of your soul because there's nothing to, you're not running anymore from you. The second element is the darkness itself. Darkness has a profound effect on the human physiology, the nervous system, the brain. The first 4 to 5 days, you have huge spikes of melatonin, so you go into a deeply restful state. And around day 8, 9, 10, you have huge releases of DMT. So it's basically a very intense psychedelic trip, but the practice that I went in there to do is how to stay clear, to not get lost in these hallucinations, these visionary experiences. And that's how the Tibetan Buddhists usually use it. They go in there to see the mind kind of, because your mind is going to start projecting its whole subconsciousness, all your fears, all your inner demons, all your hopes, all your joys. You're going to feel them and in a way also see them on this canvas of darkness. So it's like a direct confrontation with your own psyche.
Yeah, profound. And the reset component of it, you mentioned
Yes.
lightly there, like your whole system begins to reset. I mean, even with the Vipassana, like there's a lot of light, but even just quietening down, the speech, like having 10 days where you just like not
Yeah.
talking, and just kind of watching all the internal dialogues just come to a real head before they start to dissipate. I mean, like you said, you're going through these visual experiences where you're seeing so much on the canvas of the darkness, and processing all of that. But then also your body must have been going through some, because your background is also like, coaching, but also like significant amounts of like health, wellness, fitness, like personal training type sort of background. Like your body must have gone through some very interesting resets.
100%. And I would recommend most people to do at least 1 or 2 days maybe. I mean, it's an advanced practice, so you want to be very careful. It's not something you just want to jump into. There can be very negative consequences if you don't know how to meditate and be with your subconscious. But one of the most significant things in form of the reset that I experienced, Amrit, was it's really astounding to me how much we're affected energetically by the people and the context around us. And I wasn't aware of how much that was until I was in the darkness by myself. And I noticed even certain friends I had that I didn't speak with were I was being influenced by their field. And so when I was in the darkness for the first time, I had this sense of, oh my God, this is what my energy field feels like when it's really detached from everything else. It's, for me at least, and I think for many people, it's very hard to have a sense of yourself truly when you are in context. And I think that's natural. We affect each other. Of course, we respond to each other's needs. So even people who are not spiritually interested, if you can take like 4 hours or a day and have that kind of detachment and just, it can really realign your vision, remind you, what am I about? Where am I even going? Without the influence of other people. So that's extremely powerful. Now, to the physical side, yes, your body goes through atrophy, your muscles kind of dwindle down. Those were the main things. There was a deep reset. I had deep injuries that I had in my shoulders heal in there. I felt tremendous heat and light start moving up, and then I just had like a healed shoulder. So the body's natural intelligence just kicks in, and it's like, finally, like I just have some time to just go inward, to move these pranas, the life force, inward instead of it going outward, and start doing some repair work.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely loved this, well, then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.